When most people hear the word Illuminati, they picture shadowy elites plotting in secret, pulling the strings behind global events. But the truth? The real Illuminati didn't wear robes or sacrifice anything in dark chambers. They weren't gods or devils. They were philosophers with a dangerous idea that knowledge should be free. Welcome to Insanely True, Episode 14, The Illuminati Part 1, Enlightenment and Erasure. In 1776, the same year the United States declared independence, another revolution was quietly ignited across the Atlantic. A man named Adam Weishaupt, a professor of canon law in Bavaria, believed that the world was governed not by truth, but by superstition, religious control, and absolute monarchy. He saw knowledge being hoarded, ideas being silenced, and so he founded a group with one goal: to illuminate the world with reason. They called themselves the Order of the Illuminati. Not a cult, not a satanic circle, but a society built on Enlightenment ideals, free thought, liberty, rational inquiry. They opposed tyranny, both political and religious. Weishaupt's goal was to spread education and critical thinking, to break the chains of dogma. Their structure borrowed from Freemasonry, but their intent was more radical. They recruited doctors, lawyers, professors, and writers, men who believed in secular governance, equality, and the right to challenge authority, but in a Europe dominated by monarchs and the church. That was enough to make them dangerous. Their numbers grew from just a few to thousands across Bavaria, Austria, and beyond. But power fears the light. By the late 1780s, the Bavarian government began a crackdown. Edicts were passed banning secret societies. Members were arrested. Documents were seized. Weishaupt was exiled. The group was officially disbanded. Their writings were outlawed, their influence condemned, and over time, their history was rewritten. In just a few decades, a group that once stood for free inquiry and truth-seeking became whispered about as shadowy manipulators of world events. But how? Enter the 19th century. As revolutions swept through Europe, some elites, especially conservative religious factions, began blaming secret societies for the unrest. The Illuminati, though gone, became a perfect scapegoat. Writers and political critics claimed they'd gone underground, that they were behind the French Revolution, that they sought to overthrow religion, morals, even nations. It didn't matter that the original Illuminati had long been destroyed. A new mythology had taken root, that a hidden elite was orchestrating history from the shadows, and the Illuminati name, once a beacon of enlightenment, became its opposite, a symbol of fear, conspiracy, and control. Even America got caught in the web. In the late 1700s, clergymen in New England warned that the Illuminati were infiltrating the new republic, that the founders, men like Jefferson and Franklin, had been seduced by their radical ideals. Pamphlets spread the warning. Preachers called for vigilance. And though nothing was ever proven, the myth endured. It was no longer about Adam Weishaupt or reason. It was about power hiding in plain sight. And here's the irony. The original Illuminati didn't want power. They wanted to dismantle it. They didn't seek global control. They sought intellectual freedom. But in the centuries that followed, their name would be twisted into a tool, used by real power to distract, distort, and divide. A ghost story whispered in the dark to keep people afraid of the wrong enemy. And so, the question isn't whether the Illuminati survived. The question is, who benefited from replacing their truth with a lie? In part 2 of this story, we'll follow the shadow of the Illuminati, the version that never existed, yet continues to shape culture, fear, and even belief systems to this day. From pop culture references to common rabbit holes, we'll explore how Illuminati became the catch-all villain of the internet age, and whether the real conspirators prefer it that way. Truth is stranger than fiction, and sometimes the fiction was planted on purpose. For more information, including sources we can't show on YouTube, follow the link in the description. If you want more stories like this, remember to like, subscribe, and share.